Hey everyone, this is Alex with another rapid fire review, this time for Tango Gameworks' Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush is a rhythm action game where you play as a semi-lovable simpleton, Chai, along with his wacky group of friends to take down Vanderlei Industries, the evil robo-corporation hell-bent on doing, evil stuff. Hi-Fi Rush feels like a simpler game from a simpler time, and I don't mean that negatively in any way. It feels like a classic, old-school action game. It's completely linear. You move from area to area, cutscene to cutscene, fighting an evolving cast of bad guys and hench robots, then move on to the bosses in each chapter. There's upgradable abilities, hidden Easter eggs, a standard platform train level that's in every game of this type. There's a completely transparent and predictable story, then you fight the big boss and the game ends. I can see how that may sound bad, but it's not the case. It was crisp, and it was clean. It had none of the ridiculous bloat that modern developers think that we want. The dialogue and the story were silly, often bad, really bad, but it never once took itself seriously. You know they're trying to have fun, so when someone says something stupid, I can simply roll my eyes and move on. It's not at all jarring and awkward and relentless, like in Forspoken or other games that want the dialogue to be taken seriously, but they don't have the writing competency to do so. The rhythm-based combat feels great, even for two rhythm-challenged individuals like we are.
Sorry.
After about 20 minutes of figuring out the basics, we were off beating up huge armies of robots and really didn't have much issue for the rest of the game. The game slowly introduces new gameplay aspects, dodging, parrying, calling in support from other characters, and special attacks. So, by the end of the game, combat is far more complex than simply light and heavy attacks you start with, but we got there organically, and it felt really good. And I know these things are gaming basics, things we should expect, and are almost ridiculous for me to be praising here. But much like common sense being no longer common, standard gaming elements no longer seem to come standard in modern games. It was really nice to see here. The platforming aspects of the game were also handled well. Jumping, double jumping, dashing, hook shots, and all manners of laser beams and pools of acid to get around added just enough variation to the gameplay to keep things interesting.
Ow! Gotta do with the beat. Flawless victory. Alright. Boost! Oh, come on! I'm not gonna make it, guys. Too soon. Can I go 5 for 5? Let's do it. Five for 5, baby.
The normal combat here, the ones outside of the bosses, is where the game really shines for me. The varied enemy types keeps the fights interesting, and the different moves and specials you unlock throughout changes how each plays out. The boss fights were mostly good. Some were clearly better than others, and unfortunately, the first tutorial boss was incredibly bland. It's the fight where a big robot attacks you when you're on a platform, and they swing down with their fists, and their fists get stuck in the platform, and you punch them in the fists, and then later you punch them in the chest, and then it's over.
I did it this time.
Nice.
Oh, shit.
Even with the rhythm aspect of combat, it didn't feel new or special or exciting. I wasn't quite sold on the game at this point, so I was actually very worried about the quality of this game at this point. But the game and boss fight design does get much better from here. Overall, the writing for the game, I would say, is pretty good, or at least adequate. It's a standard story with standard characters saying standard things. There are plenty of jokes, and some hit and some didn't. Plenty of little NPCs all over who say things, some interesting and some not. I don't think anything here will blow anyone away, but I also don't think that too many people will hate what's written. So while I might not give it any bonus points, I'm also not taking any points away either.
snap. It's not
Wait.
creepy at all.
Snap out of what?
Chai, you totally got caught by Corsica.
The sound design and music for the game are both excellent, which is a pretty good thing because a game based entirely on its music needed it. We unfortunately had to play on streamer mode for our playthrough, but even the DMCA free songs were quite good. If and when you play it, it'll be even better with the licensed music. The only real negatives I can see here are a few sections were repetitive or overly drawn out, and a few instances of dialogue or humor that weren't always within my taste. This is just a game with almost all of its components done really well. So I'm going to give Hi-Fi Rush a 9 out of 10 score. Hi-Fi Rush is just solid game design, solid enough story, great combat, great music, and it's even the right price. It's free right now with Game Pass, or it's just $30 on Steam. If you're a fan of rhythm games, I definitely recommend you check this one out. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe Show.